Hi everyone, this is Heather Lautanen from the Flourish Academy, where our goal is to empower, educate, and elevate you to create a life that you love through the art and business of photography. In this video, we are going to finish our Christmas card by examining the text layers, but first, make sure you check out our sponsor, ymcamera.com, for all of your photography needs. In the previous video, we learned how to add these photographs into this template using clipping masks, but I wanted to talk a little bit about using text inside of Photoshop. Many times when you purchase templates online, you will have fonts included that you don't have on your system, as evidenced here by the exclamation point in the layers palette. Photoshop is telling me, hey, you don't have these fonts, so if you decide to change this text, you're going to have to change the font. So let's go ahead and press T on the keyboard in order to access the text tool. Now the way this tool works is if it has dotted lines around the cursor and you click, you will create a new text layer. If it does not have dotted lines around the cursor and you click, you will be inside of a current text layer. So that's just something to make note of. Now Photoshop is telling me, hey, you don't have this font. We have to substitute if you'd like to change it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. So now obviously I don't want this font. Number one, it's too big. It's very plain. When I'm working with text, I often like to go to Window and choose Character in order to see my characters palette. This is where we can change a variety of attributes relative to the text, including the font and the color. So what I'm going to do is press Command or Control A on my keyboard in order to select that text, and I'm going to make it smaller by placing my cursor over the T next to the font size, because it becomes a scrubby slider. And a scrubby slider means that there are arrows in both directions. If you click and drag to the left, you'll make that font smaller, and obviously to the right will make it bigger. I think it just saves some time, and all of these, in fact, have scrubby sliders. All you have to do is place your cursor over the graphic, and you can see that. So we can just choose another font, maybe one that we already have on our system. I'll just choose this one, Lobster. I'll make this a little bit smaller. And I'm actually going to change this text to say Merry Christmas because that's my preference. Now, if I place my cursor here and I click, I can obviously edit the text. But if I move my cursor till it changes, I can move the text. And that's pretty handy when you want to reposition without having to go to the move tool. So I could place that right there. I think I'm going to need to make this a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I can go to these other text layers and essentially do the same thing. Remember, if your cursor does not have dotted lines and you click, you will be inside of that text layer. You say okay to that, and then a Command or Control A to select all of that. And you can change this font, obviously, to whatever you'd like. You can alter the size as well as the tracking. I actually tend to change the tracking quite often with my text. I like it to have a little bit of space between the letters. And I think that looks fine. And then you could grab the name, click inside of there. I understand I don't have that text, so I just say okay. And then Command A to select it and go through your fonts and change it to something you like, being sure that it is legible, because that is absolutely not legible. So let's go ahead and change that. And then I could press Command A and make that a little bit bigger. And again, you could play with the tracking and move that around so that you like it. I'm going to go to this text layer from our home to yours and actually change that to small caps because I like the way that looks, which is what I did. And then V on my keyboard to access my move tool. And then I can just select these layers and move them around however I would like. I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.